What is the ceiling for Arvell Reese this season? Hello, everybody. I'm Tony Gerdeman from BuckeyeHuddle.com, wanting to talk today about Ohio State junior middle linebacker Arvell Reese. Though to refer to him as a quote-unquote middle linebacker seems a bit simplistic regarding his position and what he is being asked to do this season. I will say he is currently leading the Buckeyes in tackles with 20, just as your typical middle linebacker should do. Second on the team with 2 tackles for loss, tied for the team lead with 2 sacks. There's only a portion of the game where you'll actually see him kind of lined up alongside Sonny Styles at inside linebacker in the Buckeyes 4-2-5 set. There'll be other times where you see him as an end man, whether it's in a 4-man alignment or a 5-man alignment. The 5-man alignment with the one defensive or one linebacker and the penny front that they call it, with Arvell Reese setting the edge as one of 2 essentially defensive ends, and then you've got 2 3 techs at tackle, and then you've got a nose tackle in there. And then, of course, there'll be times where they only have 3 or 4 guys on the defensive line or whatever. Matt Patricia, new defensive coordinator, is keeping things interesting on the fronts, and a lot of that has to do with what he can do with Arvell Reese. And at 6'4", 243 pounds, Arvell Reese is as big as a defensive end, can handle offensive linemen like a defensive end can, but runs like a very fast linebacker, and is not just fast, he's athletic, he's physical, he's all of these different things. And I wrote about him at BuckeyeHuddle.com on Friday. One of the quotes that I threw in there goes back to this spring from redshirt freshman offensive tackle Ian Moore, who had been working against all of these different defensive ends in the spring and was asked about getting to work against Arvell Reese some. And he said, Arvell is one of the most athletic guys I think I've ever seen in my entire life. He probably runs like a 4.4 or 4.3. I don't know what his pro shuttle is, but it looks fast. And him just kind of bending that edge, it's not like scary, but it's kind of scary, you know? And so that's Ian Moore having to deal with the attack from Arvell Reese. I'm not going to buy in on the 4.4, 4.3. I think a lot of guys that run fast look like 4.4s and 4.3s to offensive linemen. That's just how they see things. But a guy of this frame, this athleticism, we saw it against Texas when he's chasing Arch Manning around. We saw it against Ohio when he's not just chasing Parker Navarro around, but chasing him down. And that's something that he excels at, literally, figuratively, all of those things. Because as one of the best pass rushers on the team, he's going to get after the quarterback. As an incredible spy so far this season, he is able to mirror the quarterback. But this is like one of those rare things where the mirror breaks you, and now you've got 7 years of bad luck, something like that. And it's going to be imperative against Washington when you're facing DeMond Williams, who does run a 4.3 or 4.4. And it's one thing to spy and mirror, but can Arvell Reese keep up with him and keep him from picking up yards on the ground when he chooses to run? It's going to be a very tall order. Thankfully for the Buckeyes, Arvell Reese is kind of a tall linebacker. So that's going to be a fascinating thing to watch. And then also watching Washington and watching any of these teams have to deal with Arvell Reese. One of the jobs of a quarterback is always to point out where the Mike linebacker is. When you're trying to find out where Arvell Reese is, however, you're going to be looking all over the place. You're not just going to be looking where he should be at linebacker. You're going to be, is he on the edge? Is he lined up on the line of scrimmage between a tackle and an end? Is he blitzing? Is he dropping back into coverage? Is he spying? He can do all of these things from all of these different positions. And even Ryan Day said it recently. He said Arvell has a lot of versatility. Yeah, no duh. When you get up on Arvell, he said you can just see he has all the traits it takes to be a dominant linebacker. And after that Texas game, he started blowing up. You saw all of the Twitter draft nicks and X's and O's gurus breaking down his game from Texas. Didn't need to do that against Grambling State because he didn't really play much. But then again, against Ohio, had another sack and 7 tackles. He had 9 versus Texas, 7 tackles against Ohio with a sack, 2 pass breakups, a quarterback hurry, and it was one of those pass breakups that Matt Patricia cited on Tuesday when we talked to him at interviews, and you're asking him about all of these different things that Arvell Reese can do. He's a pass rusher, he can spy, he's a tackler, and Patricia was like, yeah, and he's also really good against the pass, and he can defend, and he can cover a tight end, and he can cover a running back because he has the athleticism to do so. But you still want to have him creating some havoc. He's going to have to do all of the linebacker stuff at times, but there's also some playmaking stuff that Matt Patricia is going to have him do. And that's, when he's on the line, when he's not, you just never know. You may know where he's starting, but you don't know what he's going to be doing there. And that's part of the, as Ryan Day would say, the art of coaching. Just having the offense have to worry about what Arvell Reese is going to do, where he's going to do it from. That gets the quarterback talking. That gets the offensive lineman talking. It just creates some gravity and focus going one way. And it's crazy to think about, wow, all of this is going on. People are almost forgetting about Caleb Downs. And then, by God, that's Caleb Downs' music. And so you've got these two guys that can line up anywhere and do all of these different things. And you can't lose focus on the other while you're super focused on the one. And it's very interesting to watch. And as they get more and more comfortable and more, you can only implement so much in camp and through the first couple of weeks of the season. So Matt Patricia will continue to add more and more and more to the defense. And so far, Arvell Reese seems completely comfortable in handling whatever he's being asked to do. And this isn't just a matter of, okay, Arvell, on this one, we want you on the line. This is what you want to do. He's also doing all of the stuff when he's playing middle linebacker, when he's playing Mike, he's making checks, he's doing this, he's doing that. There are times where Sonny Styles is the green dot. There's times where Arvell Reese is the green dot in terms of the communication on the helmet, getting that communication from Matt Patricia, making calls. They're asking so much from him. And the thing is, when you talk to Arvell Reese himself, he just wants more. And all of this is, he kind of bristles at the idea of this is just all natural, right? He's like, no, I put a lot of work into this and I do a lot of studying. I do a lot of prep. I watch a lot of film. He is a physical marvel, but don't let that fool you into thinking that he's not studying the game and preparing the way that everybody needs to prepare to have a defense that it looks like Ohio State might have. So that's only going to continue. It'll be fascinating to watch. See what else they have planned for him. But also, if they never added another thing to him for this defense, that alone, it's still going to be plenty of fun to watch to see what he can do against opposing offenses this coming season. And there's going to be some guys that can run, and he's going to have to keep up with them. And again, as I said, I'm fascinated to see how this Washington trip goes for him and for Washington, because they've not yet played anybody like Arvell Reese or Caleb Downs or Sonny Styles. There's going to be an entire Ohio State defense coming to Seattle. And of course, we will have much more on that game at BuckeyeHuddle.com. And also, of course, here, YouTube.com/Buckeye Huddle. We'll be talking about that for the next week or so, and then talking about it afterwards as well. So that will do it on the Arvell Reese stuff. If you could hit the thumbs up on this, we'd appreciate it. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel on here at YouTube, please do so. Planning more videos like this and live shows and all sorts of things that you need. Frankly, we know that. And of course, you can continue to find us at BuckeyeHuddle.com. The absolute best way to support what we do is sign up there, become a member, say hello to us there on the Buckeye Huddle message board presented by Jeff Ruby's Columbus. So that will do it for today. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll talk to you all later.